Claude Sonnet 5 just dropped. Top tier performance on coding and tool use at Sonnet pricing with a million context window. It's the new default in Claude Code for pro users and available everywhere on Claude platform. Alright, so we have a new model which is apparently not US government banned. So I'm assuming this is not really a good model, especially in the cases of cybersecurity and biology use cases. And if you look at the system card and some of the benchmarks that they have released, for example, this Firefox 147 exploit development, you're going to see that Sonnet 5 is basically nowhere to be seen, right? Look at Mythos 5, which is like a model trained for cybersecurity use cases. And in front of that, Sonnet 5 is basically zero, right? There is the working exploit thing is basically zero, and the register control only is this 13.2. Now, I don't exactly know what these numbers are, but it does not take a scientist to see like this is basically bad for cybersecurity use cases. And I'm not really surprised given that what had happened with Anthropic when they released a model like Mythos. But if you go into their system card and take a look inside the cybersecurity area, you're going to see that they clearly mention that Claude Sonnet 5 is not a model optimized for cyber capability. We did not deliberately train Sonnet 5 on cybersecurity tasks, and any cyber-related skill it shows likely comes from the general improvements in capability rather than targeted training. Our tests indicate that cyber capabilities of Sonnet 5 are generally stronger than those of Sonnet 4.6, but not as strong as those of Opus 4.8. It's substantially lower than that of Mythos 5, which is clear. But even if the model itself is not really secure, I'm sure like they have certain guardrails already enabled for the model, right? So that you can't even try to steer the model or teach it in some specific way, whatever you want to do. Because it's still a general model, right? It's good at instruction following. So it's possible to create an exploit out of them. Now, my timeline has been a little fun with Sonnet 5. So I have bookmarked some of these tweets, which I would want to cover. So one user says Claude Sonnet 5 is the worst model to date, costs more per task than Opus, performs worse than Opus, is not a meaningful step up in any way given the drastic bump from 4.6 to 5, and literally no one wants it all. Now this point is actually interesting because this might trip a few people, that it says like costs more per task than Opus. See, this is something that we have generally seen as a thing, right? That what is the cost of AI? Now, cost of AI is obviously the token count, right? Which is sort of like loosely related to, input and output token costs. But the models have gotten better. For example, if you look at something like GLM 5.2, and if you look at something like GPT 5.5, now a model like GLM 5.2 will still be able to do stuff that GPT 5.5 is doing, but this ends up consuming more tokens than GPT 5.5, and this includes the thinking tokens and everything, like the net token count, right? So both of them are able to do the tasks. So even though this is technically little less in price and this is more in price per million tokens, it's possible that you basically have to pay, or you end up paying the same amount of API cost in both the models, just because this is taking more tokens to understand the problem and understand the solution. So the token price itself does not really do a lot of justice these days, that which model is good or not. Of course, like if the token cost itself is like absurdly high, for example, if the token price is like 10 to 50 times higher, then of course, like if one model is able to do one task, it's not really possible that a model is taking 50 times more tokens to do the same tasks. But generally speaking, these token costs are not in the 50x range, at least not right now. So that is what he says, that it costs more per task than Opus, because if you put Sonnet 5 and keep it running in a loop on some task to completion, and if it costs you more, then it's obviously useless, right? And if you yourself are fed up of all these models and so many choices in the market, then you're going to love what I have to show you today. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably have 6 AI tabs open right now. One for ChatGPT, one for Claude, one for Gemini because you have credits. And then you're probably orchestrating between them, copy pasting like a human AI gateway. And that is where today's sponsor, Nexos AI, comes into play. So Nexos is basically one platform that gives you access to hundreds of AI models inside one control panel. Let's say I want to talk to Opus 4.8, I can select it, I can just get the message back, and mid-conversation I can go ahead and switch it back to Sonnet 4.5 because I feel like the conversation is not really intelligent. So I can use a better or smaller model. You can even switch the category of model to Gemini or any other company. But the thing that actually changes how you would work would be AI Agent Builder. Let me show you the part that sold me. Imagine this is you, and by 7 p.m. on the clock, your brain is fried with a bunch of tasks that you have to complete. some Slack is ringing, your email is on fire, and you have a bunch of messages from your boss. You have some docs to review, and tomorrow is completely unplanned. That is where you can create a new agent or browse existing templates. For example, this daily assistant template that is there that integrates Slack, Gmail, and Calendar. And once you have gotten that, you can just say, hey, can you check my inbox? What's up? And this agent, because it's connected to every service that you have, can go ahead and just look at everything that is there to offer. Now you have suggestions like prep me for today, which would be much more useful if you're giving it access to your work email or something that has your calendar meetings and drive access. And of course, as usual, you can pick the models that your agent is using anytime. Another agent that saves a lot of time is this file generator. What this allows you to do is analyze documents, spreadsheets, anything that you have instantly. Let me show you how. So I just dropped in Claude Sonnet system card for Sonnet 5, and I can just ask it, can you tell me if this is a good model for my use cases? And if you have more files like the work that you do or the stuff that is already available inside agent's memory, it can just pull it from there itself. And this can not only just answer your questions, but it can also create files if you want. So you can give it like a bunch of mess of notes that you have and just ask it to create a presentation, a PDF, anything that is there. And as you can see, it gives you the right answer directly. So I just sent it a message. Can you create a slide sheet PPT for me to pitch to my boss why we should stay on Opus 4.8 and not Sonnet 5? And this would be able to do it just in a second. And as you can see, within a couple of minutes, it just created a nice presentation which I can download and send it to my boss. Professional, clean, saves my time. Nexus AI was built by founders of Tesonet Group, so privacy is not an afterthought here. All the models that they run are the safest you can find. Plus your data stays yours. It never trains on your data unless you explicitly allow it. Stop paying for 4 AI subscriptions. Get them all with Nexus.ai with 50% off using my link today. Alright, back to what we were discussing. Look at this. This is an interesting graph that you can take a look at in order to understand how efficient a model is, right? I will have this link in the description if you want to check out this website. This is actually artificial analysis, which includes a lot of such interesting insights into the models. So one of them is output tokens, right? And if I go ahead and clear all these models, and let's just select Claude Sonnet 5, let's say Fable also, and GPT 5.5, and let's say GLM 5.2. And if you look at this graph, you're going to see that GPT 5.5 is taking about 16,000 total tokens, output tokens per intelligence task, right? Whereas Claude Sonnet 5 is about 68,000, right? So the gains of your price delta gets wiped off if you are using, even a cheaper model like Sonnet, but it's anyway taking a lot more reasoning tokens, for example. The same problem is with GLM 5.2, right? It can do the work that you are asking GPT 5.5 to do, but the benefits of using GLM 5.2 will diminish if it ends up doing a lot more work. And that is what we are seeing with Sonnet 5. Also in the footnotes, you're going to find that Sonnet 5 is an upgrade to Sonnet 6, 4.6, but it uses an updated tokenizer that changes how the model processes text to improve performance. Now, I have talked about tokenizer in depth. So if you are a developer and you want to understand what exactly this tokenizer thing is, you can watch my 40-minute video. I will link it somewhere here. You can check it out. It's a completely in-depth tutorial on how do you build one in the first place. But the idea here is that Sonnet is using a different tokenizer where the trade-off is that the same input can map to more tokens, roughly 1 to 1.35 times more depending on the content type, right? So that means your same prompt, which was, let's say, 1,000 tokens on 4.6, Sonnet 4.6, could take like 1,300 tokens or 1,500 tokens, depending on whatever range. 1,300, I think, is the maximum that will take on the new model, on the new tokenizer that we have. All right, so let's try to do a little bit of vibe check on Sonnet. So what I'm showing you is an internal task that I'm building right now as a reinforcement learning task. And you can see I'm already on Sonnet 5 right now. We can also just double check this. Yes, we are on Sonnet. Let me see if I have fast mode. Okay, so we do not have fast mode on Sonnet, at least right now, not right now. And let's say effort is gonna be max. Double check the model. We are still on Sonnet, so that's good to go. Hey, can you tell me how I can make this task harder so Opus does not crack it? Right now, I know this is a cybersecurity task. Basically, the idea is for this task is that it's a small game, right, for an AI agent, which the AI agent plays. And if it's able to solve, for example, Opus is able to solve in 2 of the runs. In third run, it was not able to solve. So if it passes, then it's a plus. If it does not pass, then it's not a plus, right? So, and it is scored. For example, it is scoring 67% on this game, Opus 4.8, right? Which is sort of the best, one of the best models that we have available today. So the idea is that you create these games which AI models use to become better. So I just want to see what sort of suggestions does Sonnet give us over this, and if they are actually good suggestions or they are just bad. Now, while Sonnet is actually working on this, let me also explain you the task a little bit so you also understand. A Node Express learning platform lets any student send direct messages, and the inbox renders the message bodies as raw HTML via dangerously set inner HTML, which is something that you should not use. Drop an image on error into a direct message to the instructor and execute it inside the instructor's bot logged in tab. Basically, you have to do a cross-site scripting attack to an instructor who is on a learning management system, right? That is the task. So let's see now that what Sonnet has to offer, because this is apparently an easy challenge for Opus 4.6. Like we see, like 2 of them out of 3 have solved this. By the way, if you like this UI, this is actually, the whole thing is running inside a browser, right? So it's not a desktop app. Even this terminal is inside a browser, right? It's using Tmux and it's connected with my local Claude. Which is obviously a benefit because I don't have to build the whole harness by myself. Now, one interesting thing about this is that this Sonnet model seems to be a lot slow, right? So it's not like, even though it's a smaller model, a cheaper model, but I don't think like if you're using it on Macs, you would get any sort of speed advantage, at least compared with Opus. I feel like this is the sort of same timeline, which, 5 minutes of thinking and then, starting to execute a bunch of things, is the same sort of timelines that Sonnet also Opus also takes generally. All right, so it's sort of completed. Let's see what sort of suggestions it has given after so many minutes. The first one it suggested was make the decoy bite. There's already a second instructor with no bot attached, a real decoy, but only with 2 instructors total, whatever, right? And don't add an XSS filter bypass puzzle. And both of these suggestions are actually bad, right? So this model is obviously bad from a suggestion point of view in cybersecurity tasks, at least that we already know, and now this is also confirmed, but this is also sort of like a software engineering task, right? Not just cybersecurity task. So this is not going to be my daily driver. I'm going to obviously switch back to Opus, which is going to be something that I anyway use most of the time. And sometimes fast mode, if I'm feeling a little lucky, I just turn it on and I just start sending it messages. But again, like, don't do this. Don't try it at home. So yeah, all in all, I feel like Sonnet 5 is in a category of a really good sub-agent, which can be handed over work from Opus and it'll do it completely. It'll just follow instructions. But I would refrain from using this as my main agent if you already have a subscription, credits, API, anything that you have and you're using it. Stay on Opus, stay on GPT. I think that is good enough for now. So that's all for this video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you in the next video very soon.